We are fortunate enough to be joined by Jeff Weiner, Orlando Sentinel court reporter, who is in the courtroom. And wow, what a day, huh, Jeff? The girlfriend of, well, not girlfriend, girlfriend or female friend, apparently, of Trayvon Martin. And she gave her testimony to the prosecution. She was hard to hear, hard to understand. She used the N-word, I think, a bit because CNN kept blanking it out, I guess, in talking about what she and Trayvon said on the phone. And then came the cross-examination.
Yeah, it was really, really gripping stuff, really interesting testimony in court today. You know, she kind of came, it was almost as a surprise. There was really no indication before she took the stand, you know, that this was going to be when the state called the person who's been, you know, described as their star witness, basically. Rachel Jean Teal, she's 19. She admitted on the stand that she has lied about her age since becoming involved in the case. Told Trayvon Martin's parents that she was 16 at some point, and also lied about why she didn't attend his wake. And
that was under oath that she lied.
Yes, yeah. Apparently, it was in her sworn statement to the prosecution. She went on to tell a very emotional, very gripping account of what she says happened. What phone conversation she had over the phone with Trayvon Martin. She did use the N-word. She described it as slang. She said that those were statements she attributed to Trayvon, describing Zimmerman, who Trayvon was saying was following him. She basically said that she heard everything all the way through Trayvon Martin falling on the ground and her hearing what she described as grass sounds, which wasn't really delved into further.
Yeah, wet grass.
Wet grass,
yeah.
and also him saying, you know, get off me, get off me. So it was really interesting. The jurors were watching with very close attention and taking notes. It was a really unusual day in the courtroom, honestly. I mean,
but I don't want to leave her yet, though, because then during cross-examination, there were many inconsistencies. She gave the impression she knew exactly where Trayvon was at various times, right by the father's fiance's house, right by the mailboxes, here, there, whatever. Yet she's never been there. And then she really had no idea where these locations were. She also had a different story from what she gave in the deposition as to what George Zimmerman said to Trayvon, according to her. First, he said one thing, and then testifying today, she said that George Zimmerman said something else. She also said she didn't take seriously when she was under oath being questioned by the attorney during the deposition. And so, I mean, she was. I think her credibility was shot in the cross-examination. Don't you?
That was a really shocking moment that you mentioned, where she said that she just didn't take seriously the initial interview that she did with Trayvon Martin's family attorneys. You know, I mean, it was really blunt. She was, you know, at times definitely, you know, got really testy with the defense attorney at the end when he said that he had 2 more hours of questioning left. Well, first she said, "I'm not coming back tomorrow."
Right.
I don't think she meant that as like and I'm going to violate the court's rules or anything type of thing. But she just kind of said it offhand, and then at the end he says he has 2 hours left, and she goes, "What?" Really surprised, exclamation in court. Yeah, I mean, she basically, you know, said I lied to Trayvon Martin's parents. She said, you know, I didn't want any part of talking to them. Says that she didn't, you know, that she didn't take seriously her initial statement to Benjamin Crump, which is a really unusual. I've never seen a witness or heard a witness give that explanation for discrepancies in statements.
I mean, if she's the star witness, I mean, here's a woman who changed her story, couldn't know, admitted she lied under oath, committed perjury, yet she could tell when a phone hits wet grass. I mean, if you're the jury and you're watching this and you're gonna convict this guy based on her testimony, I don't think so.
Well, it's really you know, it's fascinating to wonder what's going through these jurors' minds. You know, on the one hand, you know, people were asking me, you know, early on when she was starting to testify, and even in the past, she's had so much contact with Trayvon Martin's family's attorneys. You know, you have to worry about, is she coached? Is she being told what to say? But I don't think anyone would say that the way that she, you know, the way that she presented her testimony today seemed coached. It was kind of, you know, all over the place. It was she had a bit of an attitude about it. So there's that element to it. Do the jurors think that she's just being blunt, or, you know, do they think that she just doesn't have respect for this process? She basically said that she didn't take it seriously, and this is a murder trial, and she's acting like she just might not show up tomorrow. So, you know, it's kind of it was very surprising. And I've never seen that.
And we only have 2 minutes left. The neighbor who called 911 and said from what her opinion was that she heard a young boy screaming for help. And when asked, though, under cross-examination if, it could have been a man with a higher voice, she said she doesn't think so, but finally admitted, yeah, it's possible, right?
Yeah, all of the witnesses who are neighbors who've been called so far for the state, it's kind of always been the same formula. They start out sounding very good for the prosecution on direct examination, but then on cross-examination, they basically backtrack almost back to zero. I mean, she did. She said, she described it as a boy's voice. She flat out said, she was asked had she ever heard Trayvon Martin's voice, and her response was, well, yeah, when I opened my window that night. But then, the obvious follow-up question, which was asked, was, well, had you ever heard his voice before? And she said no, and ultimately had to admit that she didn't know either of these people's voices and was just basing it on the tone of the voice.
Right, and who was a bigger and smaller, and in fact, Trayvon Martin was bigger. But anyway, all right, listen, I really appreciate you coming back. We'll try again tomorrow, same time, if that's good for you. We'll play it by ear. Jeff Weiner, Orlando Sentinel, thank you very much, sir.
Sure, thanks for having me.
All right, take care, and hopefully the Trayvon's girlfriend or girlfriend